Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us today for this special webinar for our international applicants who will be joining the Hertfordshire Law School in September 2024. We've got quite a lot of information to go through with you today, and then at the end of the session we will be doing Q&A as well. Now the session is recorded, so if your internet does cut out or if you want to watch any sections back, we'll be able to share that recording with you later as well. Now, just to introduce you to who we've got on the panel today, I'm Kat, I'm from the International Office, and I'll be able to help you with any questions relating to application process or pre-arrival. And now I'll pass to colleague.
Hello, sorry, hi. I'm Ellen. I'm also from the International Office. I'll be helping on the Q&A and sort of typing away questions, so please feel free to ask questions throughout. And as Kat mentioned at the end, we'll have a Q&A and we can ask the panel some questions.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, wherever you are watching us from. My name is Dr. Bukola Faturoti. I am one of the senior lecturers in the School of Law and School of Education. I oversee admissions there. So in case you have any question in terms of law programs, or even generally, I will be here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So you're in good hands today, so please do use this as an opportunity to ask us, your panelists, whatever you want as well. So just to give you an idea of how the session's going to be broken down, first we're going to give you an introduction to your School of Study, let you know what's waiting for you when you join Herts. We'll then move on to an update on start of term preparation, so some things that you can do now to help you for September. And after that, we'll move on to Q&A. So if you have a look at the buttons that are available on your screen, you can see there's a chat button. You can use that to chat to each other, chat to fellow future students. But if you do have a question for the panel, please use the Q&A button, just because sometimes the chat moves quite quickly and we might miss any questions that are put in the chat. So use the Q&A for questions for the panel. Now, just before we start the presentation, we just want to hear from yourselves, see who we've got in the audience today. So which subject will you be studying when you join Herts? So you can take part in this poll, and we'll just launch that now for you. So you can feel free, you should see the buttons pop up on your screen. There's lots of different subjects there, so you can scroll down, find yours. So you might have some fellow future classmates watching the webinar with you as well. So choices include business law, criminal justice and criminology, international commercial law, international human rights law, intellectual property law, legal practice, the LLB, the Masters in Law, or Solicitor's Practice as well. So I can see lots of people joining in with the poll, which is brilliant to see. I'll just leave that open for a few more moments to see if anyone else wants to join in and let us know their course that they'll be joining as well. So almost everybody's taken part. So I'm going to close the poll in now. We'll have a look at these results together. So we can see really good mix of courses in here. Lots of people coming for the LLB or the LLB Accelerated, which is great. Again, a fair few of you for Masters of Law or International Human Rights Law, Criminal Justice, Criminology, and even a few for Solicitor's Practice, Intellectual Property and Business Law as well. So you've definitely got a future classmate in here with you, which is nice. So what we'll do now, everyone, is we'll progress onto the slides and I'll pass you over to my colleague, Bukola.
Thank you, Kat. Yes. All right. I look at the poll and I can actually say I'm excited because I will be teaching those of you studying postgraduate programs with us. I'm going to teach you on research methods, which we use in helping you to settle down, to understand teaching and learning in the UK, how your writing should be. And for those of you here on undergraduate program, if you choose the modules that I'm teaching, I teach intellectual property, copyright, and artificial intelligence. So I'm excited that I'm going to meet you at one point or the other in the course of your study with us. So I will now take you through what Hertfordshire Law School is like, what it is to study in the university, and some of the things that will actually make your study enjoyable. So we can now go through the slide card. Okay, so now, one thing about us at University of Hertfordshire, and especially in law school, is that we prioritize your employability. And this, as a result, affects or determines how we teach you. So the first thing you need to be happy about is the quality of the people that will be teaching you. We have a pool of experts, either those that are purely academics, practicing lawyers, be it barrister and solicitors. I can tell you that more than 50% of us have PhDs, we're research active. So that should tell you what you're going to encounter. And we also have colleagues who are lawyers, as in we have two retired judges who are lecturers with us. We have practicing solicitors or even non-practicing solicitors who still engage with the development in the law sector. So you can be rest assured that you are going to be taught by seasoned lecturers. Then our law programs, they're not simply theoretical. They are designed to make you employable. So we are conversant with what is happening in the industry, with what is happening out there, and we know what employers actually need, and we position you for this opportunity. So the ball is going to be in your court to maximize this opportunity when you get to us. And again, that goes to the experiential and skill-focused approach. It's not just teaching for teaching's sake. It's to make sure that apart from the knowledge which you acquire, the soft skills that are needed when you get to the industry, either you want to practice, you want to work as an in-house counsel, you want to take your law experience somewhere. As we go on in this presentation, you will learn about that. So one thing about Hertfordshire Law School is that we have helped graduates for over 40 years now. And even the law school building that you can see in the picture is actually named after one of our alumni. That is Dr. Grace Ononiwu, who is the director for Crown Services in the UK. As in, when you say top lawyer, we have a lot of our graduates are working either for the government, they occupy high places. So in terms of teaching, depending on whether you're studying at the undergraduate or postgraduate level, for undergraduate level at the moment, we use what is called flipped classroom model, where lectures are pre-recorded in advance. And as a student, you're able to join these recorded lectures. You listen to them on your own, and you now come to the class and you discuss this during the weekly seminars and workshops. So we use mixed methods of teaching for postgraduate students. For example, they have live lectures, which I will still mention at a point today. And outside the teaching, we also have different co-curricular activities which you can choose from. We have street law, we have being a detective, we have our fantastic award-winning law clinic, which will also help you to get the skills that you need. I think we can now move to the next slide. Okay, so now we have modern facilities, state-of-the-art facilities. The law school building itself is one, and it is the law school building that houses our full-scale replica Crown Court. The Crown Court is like you're in a real court, and that is why it has been used for films. So apart from us using it to teach, media people, they've come to shoot films in our court when they need to represent a court scene. So we have a great building. Another one is our library, which is a modern library where you can work in person or you can actually work with remotely. Then you will have opportunity to represent the school for mooting competition, trial advocacy. The people you can see in the picture, they're actually our students. They're not models. Okay, so possibly this can be your image in the future. So you'll be able to participate in client interviewing. You'll be able to participate in mediation, because you know one thing about the law sector is that it is not everybody that will engage in litigation. So we've factored this into how we teach you. So we prepare you for either you want to work as an in-house counsel, or you want to be a solicitor who works in the office, or a barrister who has to go to the court to argue cases. Another thing is that we have excellent track record in all these competitions, as in you will participate. So you will be coached. You are not left alone to do these things by yourself. And we've beaten top schools. As in, I attended one of these schools myself, but students from Hertfordshire has also beaten them when we get to a competition like mooting, like a trial advocacy. Now let us move to the next slide.
I would say my experience as a bar student at the Hertfordshire Law School was both invaluable and enjoyable. With my time at Herts, I meet a lot of friendships that will last a lifetime. You get to meet so many people from all over the world. The university is really diverse with students of all culture and backgrounds. There are always events going on with different groups of society and people so that you can enjoy. The law school has excellent facilities and a well-established learning environment. For example, 24/7 library, a full-scale replica Crown Court, as you can see behind me, and law clinic. So this has been very helpful in helping me to improve my professional development, such as advocacy, research, and interpersonal skills. The level of teaching is at high standards, and the lecturers are very knowledgeable.
All right, so you've heard from one of our former students, and again, the students you can see in the picture are students like yourself. Two of them are actually, I taught one of them at undergraduate level and another one at postgraduate level. So let's talk about your student experience, which you've heard from in that video. You are going to have excellent student experience because we prioritize the need of our students. So like I mentioned in my introduction, your module blend knowledge and skills. So when it comes to assessment, for example, you don't do the regular exam. Either you write coursework, and coursework helps your essay skills, or you are required to do a presentation. A video presentation, as you can see, I enjoy doing presentation. And if you want to work for those big organizations, big companies, you must know how to make a presentation. So, but once you have the opportunity to practice this in the school, then you acquire the skills gradually. Then another thing is that you will gain client-facing casework experience, because through our award-winning law clinic, you will have the opportunity of advising. You will handle real cases. You will be supported again, because there will be a practicing solicitor, one of us, who is going to sit down. You would have been trained first, then you will now have the opportunity to advise our clients. So I mentioned the co-curricular courses earlier on. We have been a detective for students studying criminology, we have street law, we have what were you wearing, a variety of co-curricular activities. The mediation one is also there, which help you, it helps you to develop your CV right from when you are with us, because we don't want your CV to be scanty when you are applying for those roles. And that is why when you come around, I will encourage you to participate in those co-curricular activities. Then another thing is that University of Hertfordshire as a whole and the law school is like a mini United Nations because of students. We have students from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Nigeria, Ghana, Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Russia, Uganda, Kenya. So you can imagine China, Malaysia. So these are your classmates. So you will have the opportunity to mingle with these students. Now, another thing, when you arrive in the university, we understand the fact that you may struggle because you are coming from different cultural background, different academic jurisdiction. So, and we will assign you a personal tutor who will provide you with pastoral support immediately you join us. So the onus is on you to make sure that you have a meeting with your personal tutor. And we also take that into career guidance. We have employability department, even at the university level. Again, we have online platforms where you can get your CV reviewed when jobs opportunities are available. We have different platforms where you can actually see the opportunities that are out there. Let's move to the next slide now. Okay, so still talking about the opportunities that are available, as in you will work on different modules like family law, intellectual property law. For example, my expertise is in intellectual property and technology, and that is where I obtained my PhD. You will also undertake something like company law, employment law. Like I mentioned, you will work with experienced lawyers because those are our colleagues. And either through our law clinic or other co-curricular activities, you can see the awards that we've won. We won 2 awards at the Law Works Attorney General Pro Bono Awards in 2020. We won another one recently, which is not on this slide. I'm talking about, this is what we actually won 2 weeks ago. So we are an award-winning team. I mentioned Strict Law Project, which gives you the opportunity to go to schools to educate students about issues of law. You talk about stop and search, for example, as in if people get to be stopped and searched, what are their rights? We talk about different issues in law. We talk about consent and sexual activities. So different areas of law, talking about cybercrime and so on and so forth. So this work experience, you gain them without it costing you anything. That is why I said you start to build your CV and prepare yourself for these employment opportunities. I think 3 of the students that I taught 2 years ago, they are gainfully employed, and 2 of them are actually international students. All right, over to the next slide. The next slide, I hope it's not frozen.
I'll just try reloading it, everyone. Oh, there we go.
I am obliged to counsel for both the appellant, Mr. Pats, and the respondent, the Crown, for their competent and eloquent submissions. This is not an easy case. The appellant contends the trial judge was wrong in his assessment of the law, and the respondent argues the trial judge's interpretation of the legal test was correct. For the record, the appeal is allowed, the conviction quashed, and the appellant free to go. Okay guys, class dismissed. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget, next week there's an examination. Chapters 21 to 22 might be quite helpful.
Great. So how did you feel watching that? As in, you can see that that is our court. It is not in one film elsewhere. That is Hertfordshire Law School courtroom. So when you are in that courtroom, you will see the horrors, and you dress up in your wig and gown, you start practicing, you start developing that lawyerly sense, that professional sense. Okay, now, when you arrive in the university, it is very, very important that you engage. So now that engagement, I will divide it into two. The first one is your physical attendance. You cannot compromise that. It is important that you are in the class, and you have to swipe your ID card, because that is how we take records of who is in the class. Though your lecturers may still mark the manual attendance, if there is any disparity between your swiping in and the paper attendance or the electronic attendance conducted in the class by your lecturer, then you may be exposing yourself to the trouble of the UKVI. And I'm sure you will not want that to happen to you. And besides, you being in the class is for your own benefit. For those of you that might have studied law at undergraduate degree in your home country, in your law of evidence, they may have something like what is called hearsay evidence. Hearsay evidence is not admissible in the court. So you can imagine why? Because it is possible for somebody to doctor, to embellish, or to misrepresent the information. So when you are not in the class, especially live lectures, you will now have to rely on your colleagues who may not understand what the lecturer said clearly or accurately. That when you rely on them, they can misinform you, and that can impact on your grade. So it is important that you're in the class, apart from the fact that it is part of your immigration visa terms and conditions. So you must not have below 80% of attendance in each module, not just across board. In each module, that is very important. Then the other thing is that when you're in the class, try to participate so that you are not just in the class for attendance sake. Prepare in advance, listen to the lectures, and when you get to the class, you contribute your opinion. Where you make any mistake, the lecturer can correct you, and that helps your understanding. Then the other thing is that when you're looking for your accommodation, it is important that you live within a reasonable distance of the university. Again, if you live too far away from the university, apart from the fact that it is in breach of your immigration requirements, it affects your learning process. You can imagine you having to travel 2 hours, 3 hours to class. You would be tired. And by the time you get back home, and that can actually affect your learning. And again, let's say you want to walk in the library, the thinking of the long trip of traveling will discourage you from doing that. Okay, over to the next slide. Okay, now one thing about our programs is that they are of quality and they have international recognition. We do have a lot of students from Canada join this program. Our LLB, for example, we cover the 7 foundations of legal knowledge, which help you, assuming you want to qualify as a barrister in the UK or even as a solicitor. So we take things like contract law, criminal law, law of tort, EU law. These are the modules that we cover. We cover legal methods. Even that one is actually compulsory. So our program is also recognized by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. For those of you who may be thinking of qualifying as a barrister, our program is undergoing revalidation at the moment. So if you go on our website, as in, you will not be able to register now, but I believe most of you will not need to do that right away, because I want to believe that most of you online are their offer holders on different programs, and none of you actually chose a bar program in that poll we had a few minutes ago. So irrespective of the program which you are studying, again, we have different LLM programs, which some of you have indicated that you're studying, though nobody mentioned international commercial law and arbitration. We have intellectual property and information technology, where you will take data protection as one of your modules. We have the criminal justice, where you will learn about the crime of the powerful. We have all these beautiful modules, right from the regular one, which is employment law, company law. We have international human rights law, international humanitarian law, and so on and so forth. And I also mentioned research methods, which help you to develop your research skills. So outside these programs, we also you have the opportunity of meeting our careers and employment team, who will provide you with 4 years of job search support, and also our student circles for the online global career resources. Then in the law school, School of Law and Education, though nobody mentioned education here, my colleague Lauren, she's the director of employability. One of the things she does is that she organizes different events where we bring recruiters on campus to speak to you. So you will have the opportunity of having one-on-one discussion. And anytime Lauren finds any opportunity, she circulates it among the students. We have one with HSBC, for example, and there is another one which has just been recently posted. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so I spoke briefly about the LLM bar practices, and for you to be able to qualify as a barrister in the UK, you have to join one of the Inns of Court, Lincoln, one of them, Inner Temple, Middle Temple. So, but at the moment, this is not really relevant to you. But when you're on campus, we'll be able to discuss this further. Okay, let's move to the next one. So I think maybe if you have any specific question, I think I will hand over to Kat to take this discussion on from there. Thank you, everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you, Akola. Lots of excellent information there, everyone. I can see there's been some questions in the chat already, which is brilliant. So we'll be coming to those shortly. I'll just give a quick update on some areas that you can do now for preparing with start of term, and then we'll go to Q&A. Thank you. So all of you will be in different areas of your application journey. I've seen some questions in the chat about various stages as well, which is brilliant. Now, you'll see in the diagram on the right, this is usually the process that most of you will be going through. So you've submitted your application, you've received your offer, you might have to clear conditions on that, submit documents, apply for your accommodation, pay your tuition fee deposit, and then some of you might be invited to complete a sponsorship interview or financial checks. Now, if those are required for your application, the admissions team will let you know. Usually you'll receive an email, and we'll also send you some guidance so that you know what to expect, and also the rules for the financial checks as well, so you know what type of documents you can send in. After you've completed all of your documents that you need to send in, paid your deposit, any additional checks, that's when you'll be at CAS stage. So usually the admissions team will then invite you to fill in a pre-CAS form. That's just where they can check that all your details are correct. You've still got your most up-to-date passport that you're going to use for your visa application, and then they can issue the CAS for you. We can issue CAS now for any applicants that are at that stage. So that's why it's a really good time to be clearing your conditions. If you've already done everything and you're just waiting for your CAS, that is brilliant. The admissions team are working as hard as they can to get all these out as quickly as possible. But if you're ever unsure, you can speak to your agent, speak to your in-country rep, or speak to our team in the UK as well. Once you've got your CAS, you can make your student visa application, book your flight to the UK once you've got your visa sorted, and then attend the orientation and enrolment activities. Now, we're just going to do another quick poll for you. So if you'd like to get involved, that would be great. So we've talked about your academics and things that you can expect facilities-wise on the course. I know Bukola's talked a bit about social aspects too. So we just want to know, what are you looking forwards to outside of the academic side as well? Because there might be some of these things that you've not considered, and it's a great way to make friends outside of your programme as well, meet people on the other courses in the other schools of study. So I'm just going to launch this now. So it's multiple choice, select as many as you want. Some of these things you might not have started researching into, you might not be aware of what Heart Squad is, for example, and I'm going to give you a bit more information on that. But you've got things like joining a society, exploring the local area or London, taking part in Heart Squad sports, or attending an SU event at the forum as well. So feel free to take part if you want to, and then we'll have a look at these results together as well. Excellent. So I can see lots of people joining in. I'm going to close the polling in just a moment. So if you are looking to submit your answer, please do so now. Okay, so we can see really good mix of things there. Lots of people are going to be looking at joining societies, which is brilliant. So the SU, they have lots of different societies you can join. So if you've got a particular interest, or if you want to try something new, do get involved. As we say, it's a great way to make friends outside of your programme as well. Exploring Hatfield and London, lots of things to do. We're just 25 minutes on the train from Hatfield to King's Cross. Lots of free things to do in London as well, like the museums, the art galleries. So do take advantage of that while it's on your doorstep. And Heart Squad sports and attending the SU events at the forum. Again, great ways to meet people and feel a bit more like you're settling in quicker as well, especially during those first few weeks where you don't know that many people. So I'll go back to the slides now, everybody, and we're just going to have a look at guidance that Hearts will help you with on the run up to start of term. Now, we do produce a pre-arrival guide that's got a lot of information in. It's hosted on our website. We'll be updating it for the September 2024 intake soon. And once the updates are all done and it's ready, we'll email it out to you so that you can start reading through it. But in the pre-arrival guide, we cover a lot of different things. So we've got things like packing checklists, airport guidance. So if you've not flown before, you might want a bit of help about what to expect with the airport. Documents that you should bring in your hand luggage versus what you should pack in your hold luggage. How to get from the 4 closest airports to Hearts to campus. We also do a free airport collection from Heathrow to campus hosted by our Dean of Students team. So we'll give you more information about that as well. And just lots of extra tips like BRP card collection, how to do registration when you get here, and where to go if you're arriving late in the evening as well. So keep an eye out for that. To accompany that, we also do pre-departure webinars. So similar format to this one today, but all the information in there is all focused around pre-arrival. So we'll usually start those in sort of mid-July time, and we'll send you an invite so you can join one of those as well if you want to help you prepare. And as we say, there's lots of tips that we include in there, so we'll help you as much as we can to feel prepared and know what to expect. And then when you do get to Herts, try and arrive on time. Usually for our international students, you are able to come to campus 1 week before the main start of term, because there'll be a lot of orientation activities taking place to help you settle in. So again, Dean of Students, the SU and various teams around campus do hold a lot of events. They'll be doing things like giving you campus tours, taking you to the local supermarkets so you know where they are, fun things like quiz nights, movie nights, games nights as well. So do check those out. There is an events calendar hosted on the Herts website. The link is there on screen. This gets updated constantly throughout the year. So you'll probably find that as we approach the start of term, you'll see more and more events populated in there. So save it down to your favourites in your browser so you can check back on it. And throughout your time as a student, keep an eye on it as well. A lot of the events that they do are free. Some have free food available as well. So it's well worth checking those out. We do say join as many activities as you can, just because it's a great way for you to meet people, feel like you're settling in a bit better as well. And join a club if you want to. So as I mentioned on that poll, the Students' Union, they do organise a lot of the societies. Check through those before you arrive, see if there's something for you. If you do have a particular interest and a society doesn't already exist, you can speak to your SU rep once you're a student, and they'll help you set up the society so you can meet people with the similar interest as well. If you're into sports, or even if you're just a beginner and you want to try something, there are 28 sports clubs at Herts, so all that way from beginner right up to if you want to represent the university against other unis in competitions as well. Herts Squad also offer free activities for you to get involved in. So if you don't want to join, say, the more competitive side of the sports, they also offer free sports as well for you to try out different things. I think in the past they've done things like learn how to ride a bike or roller skating. So it's well worth keeping an eye on those as well. And then we also have our chaplaincy and religious groups. So there's 2 multi-faith spaces on campus. The biggest one is on College Lane, and it's the Key, and everyone is welcome there, of all faiths and no faith. So please do use that space. Now, some things that you can do now to help you on the run up to start of term. So the university has created an online workbook that you can access now. You don't need a Herts login to get to it, and that's the URL, and we'll be emailing that out to you as well. There's lots of information on this workbook, and it's all about getting ready to study at Herts. So there's tips for academic success, things like how do you reference, how do you research, tips for keeping on top of your timetable. There's also some videos from existing international students about things they wish they'd known before they joined the university. There's also guidance on the support teams on campus, so you can get familiar with those and reach out to them if you do need them at any point. So please do take your time, work through this online module. It'll also get you used to using some of the online systems at Herts as well. The next thing you need to have a look at is booking your accommodation. So now is the time to be arranging your accommodation. We do still have rooms available on campus, and if you're in a position to, we would always recommend you live on campus, especially when it's your first year at the university, just because of that ease of access. You've got 24/7 support. You also don't need a UK guarantor, and all your contents, insurance, Wi-Fi and utility bills are included in the price. So it's a bit easier for you to budget because you know what your bills are going to be. If you are looking to live off campus, we do recommend you use PAL accredited accommodation. Now, the PAL is linked again on our website and you'll have received an email about it. But what PAL is, it's a scheme that the university set up with the local council so that accredited landlords who've been vetted and approved will appear on the PAL website. All the accommodation listed on that website looks how the pictures look, because we know it's difficult when you're an international student, you can't actually go and tour the accommodation. You've got to sign up to it without seeing it in person, which can sometimes feel a little bit scary. But all the pictures match how it looks in real life. Any deposit you've had to pay will be held securely with a PAL accredited landlord. And the property is in a good state of repair as well. So definitely always use PAL accreditation and protect yourself from scams. Now, you do need to live within a 2-hour commute or 30-mile radius from campus maximum. Now, that is maximum. I would suggest live as close as campus as you can, because the commute, it can get quite expensive. It can take quite a long time. It's going to affect your learning if you're living further away, because as Bukola said, you're going to get tired. It's going to get expensive. So my advice to students is always live in Hatfield so you can walk to campus if you do want to live off campus for any reason, but always choose on campus if that option is there for you. So regarding commute, you do need to research the bus routes. So you can do that at Uno Bus, the bus timetables. So if you've got an early morning lecture or a later evening lecture, is your bus running at that time? How long is it going to take? If you're going to look to live somewhere where you need to get the train in, you need to look at the train timetables at National Rail as well. Now, in the UK, if you're travelling during what's considered peak time, so that's usually if you're getting the train in the morning to get in for those morning lectures, you are going to be paying a peak price on the train. So make sure you've researched into that as well, because that can get quite pricey. And then lastly, clear any of those outstanding conditions we mentioned. So check your most recent offer letter. Is there anything outstanding on there? Have you paid your deposit as well? If you're not sure, please do contact your in-country rep, your agent, or contact our UK team and we can check for you as well. Now, we're just going to watch one final video. This is just a bit of an accommodation tour with some people on campus who can show you College Lane and DHAV to help you decide where you'd like to live.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm going to show you all of the amazing things of why did I choose to live on College Lane campus. First, let's start with my bedroom. It's so close to classes and contains everything that you need. And here's my kitchen, where I get to meet all of my flatmates. However, for larger gatherings, we've got common rooms, perfect for everything from group yoga to movie nights. And not to forget the oval. It's great to have post-lecture workouts. That really is everything you need on campus. Whether you like to go for a walk outdoors, or if you like to get your focus to the max in the RRC. Looking for a quiet space to pray, meditate or reflect, well, the key is the place to visit. Whatever faith you have or even you have none. Here in the Hutton Hub, you can access to all kinds of information with our Ask Hearts Hub. For the best night out, I definitely visit 77 here at the Forum. Over to you, Judith.
Hi everyone, welcome to De Havilland. I'm Judith and I'll be showing you why living here is amazing. The bedrooms are particularly great. You have absolutely everything you need in here. Say hello to the kitchen, where all the cooking and catching up with flatmates happens. In need of support, there's a whole team of staff ready to help here in the accommodation office. And just next door is the common room. Many a games night have been hosted in here. When you're feeling extra energetic, you can head over to the Sports Village. It's great to come over after classes to get a workout in at the gym or take a dive in the huge pool. Just like College Lane, this campus has its very own LRC. And also the beautiful Cafe Ambition with its great music and even better coffee. So that's a wrap. Thanks for coming along with us. Hope to see you on campus soon.
Excellent. So thank you for listening to us today, everybody. We're going to go to Q&A now, so I'll pass to my colleague, Ellen.
Thanks, Kat. Yeah, thank you for all of your questions coming in. I've been typing some, but we've had some really good questions. So I think, Bukola, the first one will be for you, please. So quite a few applicants are asking how many days or how many classes they will have to attend each week. So for various courses, but will they be able to know that now, or will that information be available later?
Well, it depends on whether they are studying undergraduate program or postgraduate program. But on the whole, they are expected to be in the school maximum of 3 times in a week. Because at undergraduate level, they will take 4 modules in first semester. So we try to put into consideration that some of them will be traveling. So we don't spread the modules over 4 days. And in instances where it happens, a student can still negotiate to see whether there is another seminar, because we can have a large cohort whereby they're being taught by 3 or 4 lecturers. So somebody who has another class for Monday, I do that for my research methods where we have about 8 sessions. So a student who I teach 2 of them, another colleague teaches 2, another colleague teaches 2, then another one teach for 1. So in a situation like that, a student can move from Monday to Tuesday. But again, I don't want to say, yes, you will get it, but we're always flexible and considerate when we're putting the timetables together. So they should expect to be on campus for about 3 times in a week. We don't expect them to be on campus for 5 days of the week.
Okay, great. Thank you. Kat, next one for you, please. Which date will the classes start in September?
This is a really good question. So depending on which course you're on, you might have an earlier start. So the main start of term is going to be, let me just check in the calendar. So the main start of term is going to be the 23rd of September. However, most of your courses will have an earlier start date. So for example, I know if some of you are on the legal practice, you've got a start date of the 2nd of September, so you will need to be ready in advance. And a lot of the other courses might have a start date of 16th as well. So please do check your offer letter. It'll also state it on your CAS, and make sure that you're here ready for your start date as well.
Great, thank you very much. Another one for you, Kat, sorry. Somebody's asking about working part-time at the university while they're studying. Is there any pre-application or anything they should do prior to arrival?
Again, really good question. It shows that you're getting yourself organised. Now, what I would say first with working part-time, we know that, a lot of students want to do that. Please do make sure that you're getting a good work-study life balance. So the most important thing for you is your academic success. It's the reason you're coming to the UK. You're paying your course fees, so you need to make sure that you've got the time, the energy and the motivation to put your studies first. Then if you are able to have a part-time job, work a few hours around class, obviously that's fine too. Just make sure that you are sticking within your visa requirements. So most students on a student visa can work up to 20 hours per week during term time. That's still quite a lot though, so you might not want to max that out. Working wise, there are some jobs available on campus for students. So some students will work as student ambassadors. They might be uni buddy assistants, give campus tours. I do just want to set your expectations, because those jobs are so convenient, they will be in high demand. So the chances of you getting one of those might be quite low. Usually applications for those will start right at the start of term, and the student comms team will email out to let you know that applications are open. But you can also keep an eye on the jobs board in the careers team as well. Most students, though, we find if you are wanting to work part-time, they'll look at jobs in Hatfield or some of the neighbouring towns.
That's great, Kat, thank you. Bukola, one for you now, please. Somebody said that their course is LLM. Can they get more detailed guidance from any teachers about this course? But I guess in sort of general, if students are looking for more details about the courses that they're coming to study, what's the best advice for them?
If they, well, again, we have general LLM, then we have specialist pathway, so that makes it a bit difficult. Though the best thing is to go on our website, as in you click on each of the program, so that gives you understanding into what you are going to actually encounter. Like I said, I'm going to be teaching intellectual property. For example, I'll be teaching information technology law. So students on a business pathway will have opportunity to take that module as their elective. It is only students on intellectual property pathway that is compulsory for them. So it's except if they can possibly put that question again, because otherwise I can talk the whole day about what LL, is it the module I should be talking about? Things like international financial law, which is one of the module, medical law, employment law, human rights law, data protection, criminal justice, crime of the powerful. You see that there is a lot for me to mention. Is it arbitration law? So I can't go into the specifics, but they need to know that some modules will be compulsory, while some modules will be elective. When they are sent the form, again, this is it. When they are sent the form to choose their module, they need to do it on time because those modules get filled up quickly. So if there is any module that catches their fancy and they need to start to think, okay, what do I want from this program? Okay, as in, I came to the UK as an international student. So before I left Nigeria, which is my original country, I've started thinking, okay, this is my dream. This is what I love. Dreams do change, okay, but you need to have a plan. You need to start thinking, okay, where do I want to work? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Where do I see myself in 10 years? And those things will actually help you. You can choose relevant modules for yourself. But just know that some modules are compulsory, while some modules are elective. For the compulsory modules, there is nothing you can do about that. And again, I've mentioned it before, and let me say it again, research methods and skills is a compulsory module for all postgraduate students, because that is where we will introduce you to how we mark your scripts. We introduce you to how you reference, because we emphasize academic integrity. So we need to talk about how to reference your work properly, and you will see that this is a time for you to unlearn, to learn something new and get value for the school fees you're paying.
Right, thank you very much. Kat, one for you now. Somebody's asked, should they apply for accommodation now?
Yes, this is the perfect time to be applying because admissions can already issue CAS now for anyone who's ready. We know that once you get your CAS, you know, your visa application is going to start. You need to know where you're going to be staying in the UK. On-campus accommodation applications are open, so you can apply now with your conditional offer. So yeah, please do be organising that. I can see as well somebody's asked about potentially, you know, living off campus in Bedford as well. So I'll quickly make some comments on that. So with Bedford, it is going to make it quite a long commute for you, whether you've got access to a vehicle and you can drive, that's going to make it easier. If you're using public transport, you do need to research into that route, because I think off the top of my head, it would probably mean you'd be getting a train and then a bus. It's going to be quite costly. It's going to take a long time. You're going to have to do that there and back. So I would recommend have a look at the on-campus options. You might be surprised. You might actually start to think, well, I can just, you know, I'm right on campus. I've got the LRC there 24/7. Can roll out of bed, go to my lectures. It's going to give you such a better student experience. So please do consider that option and just make sure you've researched everything before you commit to anything.
Right, thanks, Kat. Bukola, one for you now, please. Somebody has asked, can they attempt their SEQ exam right after graduation, or is there any extra courses that they would need to do after an LLB?
They can attempt it straight away. We also have LLM program which prepares them for SQE. So they can study on their own. which I will not encourage. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to advertise the SQE program, but you need to prepare. And when you're in the university environment, it helps your preparation in terms of discipline, you are being taught. Just imagine you have been to be reading the whole syllabus yourself without anybody guiding you. But when you do SQE with us, so instead of you applying for your post-study work visa straight away, because I can see somebody has also raised a question on post-study work visa. I think the person said, I'm doing LLM business law. You will be eligible for post-study work visa, all our master's program, once you successfully complete that. And if you can quickly allow me to digress, when Kat was responding to about schooling and working, your first obligation is to successfully complete your study. Without completing your study, there is no post-study work visa for you. And as I always tell my students, don't sacrifice £50,000 a year for £10 per hour. When you get that professional job, which you dream of, that is when you can earn 50 grand. But when you're chasing £10 per hour, you want to work, you lose focus of the big picture. And if you fail, the Home Office will not grant you post-study work visa. Then you have to leave and go back to your country, not at the time when you want to. So going back to that question, you can do your SQE immediately after you finish your academic master's, if that is what you apply for. Again, it helps you to settle down in the UK and understand the environment the more. So, in the course of, because you're not just going to be attending lectures, you are growing in your environment, you try to know the opportunities where you send your job application. So I think let me stop on that, otherwise because I advise students regularly. So when you come on campus, we will also be able to have this in-depth conversation.
Right, thank you, Bukola. Kat, one for you now. It's a sort of a two-parter. So somebody's asked when they will receive their CAS, and then also a second part to that. If they are coming for a September course, when can they come into the UK? Can they come in a bit earlier?
Yeah, so more great questions, everyone. So the admissions team are issuing CAS now for anybody who is at the CAS stage. So if you remember that slide that I showed where it was clearing your conditions, pay your deposit. If you need to complete financial checks and or a sponsorship interview, the admissions team will let you know. So once everything is completed, you'll be invited to fill in a pre-CAS form, which is just the checklist. Once you've done that, you're in the CAS queue. Now, if you're not sure, contact your in-country rep, your agent, or us in the UK team, we can check for you. Now, for people who are thinking about when can I arrive in the UK, so usually if your visa comes through fine, you'll be able to enter the UK up to about Do be mindful, though, that you'll need to make sure you've got accommodation arranged for that early time in the UK. So you need to make sure that if you have arranged off-campus accommodation, or if you're planning to do a little bit of sightseeing and you're staying in hotels, make sure that you've budgeted for that as well. But you can come to the UK up to 30 days before your course start once you've got your visa.
That's great. Thank you, Kat. Probably time for just a couple more. Bukola, so one for you. So a student has said if they are interested in doing a PhD after they have completed the LLM, how should they sort of go about this?
Thank you. Applying for PhD is different from applying for regular taught master's program. So the first thing, you need to identify a research topic and prepare a research proposal. Then we will always encourage you to start speaking to your lecturers, whether they can supervise you. Because a supervisor may be willing, but not available. What do I mean? I like your topic, but I'm already supervising 6 students. And that is beyond my quota. So the university will not allow me to add you to my research. So if there is nobody to supervise you, then you may not get an offer, not because your proposal is not good. So to study a PhD with us, you can do it, okay? But you need to have a research topic, a research proposal, setting out your research question, your research objectives. Then you can share this. You can have an informal conversation with your prospective supervisor who can advise you, okay, oh, you want to look at this country, why not consider? So they guide you in shaping your proposal before you now make your application. If you've gone through that process, the chance of your proposal being accepted is going to be like 85 to 90%, unlike somebody who does a speculative application without prior conversation. You will now start to go through this back and forth, and your proposal may get rejected if you have not have a prior conversation with prospective supervisor.
That's great. Thank you very much for that, Bukola. And we've come to the end of the session now, so I'll pass back over to Kat. Thank you, everybody, for your questions, and thank you, Kat and Bukola, for answering them so well.
Excellent. Thank you both. And yeah, thank you to all of our applicants who've taken the time to come and join us today. We know there is a lot for you to think about. Now, if we didn't get to answer your question live, so sorry, we will continue to push out sessions like this. We'll get the copy of this recording shared. If you do want to hear more student stories from international students who've gone through the experience already, do check out our international YouTube or our Instagram reels. You can see there we've got a few other students who wanted to share their experiences of studying in the UK, coming to Herts, and what it's been like for them. And if you do still need support, there's some important contact information here. So we put a lot of information on the international section of our website, especially on the run up to start of term. You can always email our team at international@herts.ac.uk. They will get back to you as soon as they can, but for any urgent queries, please do feel free to give us a call as well. And yeah, we just can't wait to welcome you when you start in September. So I'll play one last video. Colleagues, if you do need to leave to go to other meetings, that's fine. And I'll just try and answer as many type questions as we can just while this final video plays. But thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.